Hi, Hannah.
Hi, Leah. How are you?
I'm good.
Good, good.
How are you feeling?
Um, this past week has been a little rough, but I feel much better today, actually.
Oh,
So that's good.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, my whole family got it 2 weeks ago.
Oh no.
But thankfully it passed through all of us pretty quickly and we all recovered pretty quickly. But I know so many people, it's just hitting everyone so differently. And I know a lot of people that are having it pretty bad.
Yeah, yeah. And it's strange because I mean, I got vaccinated and boosted,
Hmm.
and I figured pretty much in the clear at this point, but I guess not. But my husband still hasn't caught it from me.
Oh,
So hopefully that stays the case.
nice. Wow, good job.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. But yeah, it hasn't been fun.
Yeah. Well, sorry to hear that.
That's all right. That's how things go sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So looks like Allison didn't get my uh call that we would be online tonight. So she will just start a little bit later.
Okay. I'm actually in Boston. I had a conference that I was planning to go to, and thankfully, I was worried COVID was going to upset that. But
Mm-hmm.
I met the CDC's 10-day wait period and recovered, and so I made it.
Nice. Nice.
Hey, Nancy, you're on mute.
Hi, are you guys intentionally having your video off?
Mhm.
Yeah, I do have mine intentionally off because I feel and look rough.
Well, I hope you feel better soon.
I hope so too.
Oh, there goes my dog with my pillows. Yeah. Dog, 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 down, down, down. She is so jealous. Oh my God, whenever I get on Zoom. All right, calm down. Hey, 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 stop. Good girl, stay. Flat, stay. Good girl. You want to go outside? Come on.
And Hannah, you heard from Allison. You heard back from her.
Yes.
Getting to a computer or something.
Yes, she is. And I also did get a hold of Andy, so he is aware that we're virtual tonight as well.
What are you doing in Boston, Aaliyah?
I am attending a conference for work, Passive House Network Conference. Haven't been back to the East Coast for many years. It's kind of fun to be back here.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from California. I did undergraduate in Baltimore. So I spent some time out here. I used to travel here more often, but now it's mostly between Colorado and California.
I spent most of my life on the East Coast, so I really like it there.
Yeah. Is that where you're from?
I'm from upstate New York,
Okay.
but I lived in Northern Virginia, the Washington, D.C. area for a long time.
Mhm.
So should we start calling people?
I know that Allison is working her way towards a computer. I'm not sure where Andy is, but he does know that we're online.
I could try calling him.
Yeah, Allison came here and she said to give her about like 10-15 minutes to get back home and then like set up with the computer and everything.
Great, thanks, Kelsey.
Andy's having trouble with Zoom. Is there a phone number he can just call in?
Let me look. Yes, I will.
Can you hear Hannah, Andy? Okay, I'll tell you, she says.
All right, the phone number to call in is 669
669
900
900
9128.
9128. All right. Okay, call me back if you have trouble. Thanks, bye. So who's Chelsea Stromberg?
Chelsea is at one of our new planners. She this is her first week. She's our senior planner.
Oh, wow. Well,
And I was
welcome.
gonna do a quick introduction. But yeah, she's listening in tonight.
Yeah, hi. It's
Welcome.
very excited to be here.
Excited to have you.
I'm seeing who else's phone number I have. Barbie, did anyone contact Barbie? Is she back in town?
She is back, and I haven't heard from Allison, who's planning.
I'm trying to call her.
Account.
Okay, I'll let them know. Thanks. We'll wait. Yeah, okay. Well, we're waiting on Allison too. So if you, Allison, and Andy get on, we'll have a quorum. All right, thanks. Bye. So Barbie's on her way home. She'll set up at home.
Great.
And Regina isn't with us. She left, correct? Last month was her last.
This is her last month.
Okay, I don't think I have her number. She probably went down there because I know.
I just got a text from Alex.
Here's Andy. Hi, Andy. Oh, what's the meeting ID, Hannah or Kelsey?
So the passcode is 356.
237.
Yep.
237. Is that the same as the meeting ID, Kelsey? That's the password. Do you need, is that all you need, Andy?
Oh, the webinar ID, which is probably what he needs,
Oh, wait,
is
here you.
885
885
7737
Yeah.
0190.
No question mark, Andy. All right, thanks. I know.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Allison.
Hey, Allison, I
Hey
was
there.
just texting you.
Good. Okay. I missed it. I missed that it was Zoom, but that's just me. No.
Oh, it was a last minute change.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah, I apologize. I didn't want to subject anybody to anything I was recently around.
No, that's a good idea. So no worries. I just didn't look again at my phone or my email, which is not good. And then did I hear, Nancy, you were trying to help Andy?
Yeah, he's trying to phone in.
Okay. And Abby won't be
Barbie's on her way.
joining. What'd you say?
Barbie is on her way home to get on the computer. She'd gone to City Hall as well.
Okay.
And I don't know, Allison, is it 3 or 4 for a quorum? I know with 7 people, it's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but you have 6.
We only have 4 regular members, so I think it's 2.
Well, I
Or
think
3.
the alternate, it's 6. You've got 6 people, so it's probably.
No, Judy sent me something last time because I wasn't sure if we'd have enough with me and Reggie and Aaliyah last month, but she said we did.
Okay.
Because you don't count Barb as.
Hi, Andy. Okay, Andy got on, but he can't, he's muted. It automatically muted him and he can't get off mute. Is he in a phone? Does he come on as a panelist or an attendee?
Okay. He should come on as a panelist, but I don't see him in the attendees either right now. Hold on, let me.
Oh, give it a second, Andy. Hannah's trying to figure it out. Technology, the bane and savior of our existence.
Oh, I did see Regina just pop in.
Okay.
Okay, Andy, I would dial back in then. Try to dial in again. Okay, bye.
Is Abby out this meeting or is she
Yeah, Abby's out
Okay.
today. She sent me a note and said she wasn't gonna make it. And I thought Regina wasn't, but she guessed she could make it virtually, just not in person, right?
Yeah,
Oh, good. How are you feeling?
I'm on day 4 of medication, so I'm doing a lot better.
Good. You got the like antibodies or?
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that they were giving you medicine now. So I'm kind of glad I went and because I had the home test, so I knew I was positive. But for work, I decided to go down and get tested and get a note. So yeah, they give you medicine, 5 days worth of medicine.
Huh.
Is
That's good.
COVID, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, you
Hi,
can get through it a
I
lot.
made it.
Good.
Hi.
Hey,
Andy.
Andy.
All right.
And so 3 of us on the call have got it the past couple of weeks. Me, Regina.
Oh, you got it too?
But yeah, my whole family did, and everyone recovered. But yeah,
Yeah, I think seems like we're all us vaccinated people are getting it now because
Yeah.
Mike had it and Owen had it.
no, did they?
So
You know what? It's so much better that we were vaccinated because it keeps you out of the hospital.
oh yeah, it's just exhaustion, right? Is that
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't do. It's like I don't know what day it is, but I couldn't do anything today but just lay around and sleep.
yeah,
But the coughing is done, so that's good.
that's good. So that you can rest.
Yeah.
And Hannah,
So
are you the same? You're starting to feel a little better?
Yeah, this past week was rough, but I feel like I'm on a positive trajectory back to normal at this point. I haven't gotten over the coughing, but yesterday I was the same as you, Regina. I could not get out of bed. I was down for the count.
Yeah, it's
So this is Andy. On May 18th, I went and got my 4th booster, and I was fine that night. And the next day, I was flying into Georgia to pick up my father-in-law. And about 10 o'clock that morning, I could not walk, and I had to be wheelchaired through 3 terminals.
Jeez.
Wow.
and that's
It
from
was
the
no fun.
yeah.
Wow. Well, again, I'm thankful we've got a nice group of people here that it all worked out. Maybe Zoom is the key, right, these days. So Barb, welcome back.
So far, I don't have it.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad. Well, stay well. And
Yeah, we just do the best you can, and everybody's exposed all the time. For all I know, I've had it.
it's true. Yeah,
You don't know.
I know.
You'll know when you have it, because I was saying that too, like a year. Oh yeah, I must have had it. But you know
No,
what?
I don't know. I don't mean that, Regina. It's just that there are a lot of asymptomatic people that test positive that don't have symptoms. So unless you're testing regularly, you don't
Yeah, that's
know
true.
if you're asymptomatic. You know if you're sick, of course.
Yeah, that is true. So
You can be spreading it and not know you have it. That's the huge issue.
exactly.
I think that we've got used to it now, and I think that's partly why it's so easy to get. There's
Yeah.
people walk, they have it, and they know they have it.
Yes. Well, again, welcome everyone. Glad to see you here and have you on the call, and we'll call the meeting to order. It's 6:19. So thank you all for your patience. Andy, and I think you're probably the only one that doesn't, maybe not quite sure unless you've been following the minutes on what we've been working on, but
I read them.
Okay, excellent, good. So we will approve minutes. I think it was just Aaliyah and Regina and I there last month, so. I can make a motion to approve. I just need a second.
I second that motion.
Okay. Awesome. And Reggie raised her hand too in approval, so thank you. I don't think we have any public on the call. Any visitors joining us? I don't think so. So that's nothing. New business. We're trying to stay focused on this energy efficiency program discussion. So we don't have any new business, so we can just roll right into the discussion and the tasks from last month. Anna, I don't
Can
know
I
if
bring
you
up
have
my
updates.
meeting?
What's that? Oh, you can, we can talk
We'll
about,
do that later?
we'll do that later, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thanks everybody for being flexible in the last meeting or the last minute location change. I sincerely appreciate it. And I know it's not terribly convenient. But again, I just didn't want to potentially get anybody sick. Last month we talked about the energy efficiency program, and I think we made a lot of headway in figuring out how we can spend the $10,000 budget line. And out of that meeting, there were a few takeaways, and I do have updates on those takeaways that we can take into consideration this afternoon. And so the very first of the takeaways that I have written down is we had a question about how we would get the rebate to the owner if it was something that we would be able to, if it had to be a rebate where they would pay upfront and then we would credit them at a later date, or if there was the potential to pay a certain cost upfront directly out of one of the budget lines. And so I had a conversation with the finance division, and they said that there would not be a way to pay for a certain portion of the use tax upfront out of a budget line, that we would have to do this rebate idea or this rebate direction. So the property owner would be required to pay the use tax of these installations upfront, and then we could rebate them the cost of the installation and the use tax according to the schedule that we would review and approve through the water bill. So there would be no way to credit them upfront, I guess. The second takeaway that I had was, what if we had a tenant landlord situation where the tenant were to make these improvements to reduce water consumption or something along those lines? And how could we make sure that it was the tenant that was rebated and not the property owner who maybe his name is on the water bill or something along those lines? And again, I talked with finance to figure out if there would be a way, let's say a property owner did the improvement and the water bill's in the tenant's name, if there would be a way to credit a different bill. And unfortunately, the finance division thought that that got a little bit sticky and a little bit messy. So they said that it would be their recommendation that we work with a property owner or a tenant to make sure that both were on the same page and they knew where that money was going. So the improvement that's happening at a certain address, whoever's water bill is in that address, for that address, that's where the rebate would need to go, and they would need to work it out amongst themselves. How it would work out.
Okay.
And we can be really upfront with a potential tenant or property owner if we know that they're making improvements to a rental property, that would be the situation.
Okay. Good.
Am I, no, I'm muted.
No, you are now. You weren't.
Muted. Now I'm not.
Now you're good. Go for it.
Okay. So I think, I mean, I'm trying to imagine when a property owner would not be the one making the arrangements for a major utility kind of thing, like a hot water heater or a furnace or sprinkler systems, and then I mean, I guess the tenant might have the water bill in their name. That could be possible at a long-term lease, but still that could be worked. I think that could certainly be worked out, because the responsibility for doing it, according to our habitability codes, is the owner of the property.
Yes.
I mean, I've got a really old water heater. I'm just crossing my fingers that I can last a few more months with it. But if it goes, I replace it. It's not like I would find a renter who's going to come in and, and I'd have to. According to Manitou, I have to have hot water and cold.
That's right. Good. Yeah. And that was Barb. That was it. I had just asked because, we were talking, Abby is a renter, and she just said the water bill's in her name. So I was just trying to figure out if the owner was the one that wanted the rebate reimbursement, how that would work. So that's why Hannah looked into that. So it sounds like the landlord and if it was Abby's property, Abby or the landlord would just have to work with Abby to figure out how do I get my rebate. Is it, you give me something back, or I don't know. Heck if I know.
And if they're at real crossroads, what I understand then is from you, Hannah, is the city would try to work with them to help them mediate it or negotiate it. Is that an option? If they just can't work it out, they go somewhere to do that, or not? Did I misunderstand that?
Oh, no. So we would, if we knew that the property was a rental property, which we can ask upfront, we can say, is this a rental? Then we can do our best to help make sure that everybody's on the same page, both the property owner and a potential renter, depending on who was talking to us. We wouldn't necessarily be able to facilitate a compromise, so to speak. But we can do our best to make sure that a property owner knows that maybe their tenant is making changes to their property. And that a property owner knows that a rebate would go to whoever's name is in the water bill.
Right.
Can I ask
And
a question real quick?
you couldn't, I don't think you could pull a permit for like a hot water heater, a gas one, without the property owner being involved.
That's accurate. That's correct.
We were thinking of, there's things like replacing fixtures and some landscaping stuff. Those were the type of things we were thinking potentially, could be done by a renter. Yeah.
All right.
My question on is it hot water heaters? Is it gas or electric or both?
The incentive proposals was for electric.
Because typically, like on gas dryers for drying clothes, you can heat or you can dry 2 loads of clothes as opposed to one on electric. So gas is a lot more efficient, and I'm sure it's the same on water.
Well, it depends. Yeah, it depends on where the boundaries are for efficiency. And so if you take it back to the source and you factor in that CSU is moving towards a higher renewable mix in their electricity generation in terms of long-term planning, then that's where they are incentivizing electric appliances more as a result of that. And so we had some discussion last month or maybe 2 months back on whether we wanted to kind of step in line with that and encourage that as well as part of Manitou's climate action plan and reducing greenhouse gas emissions, or incentivize both. So we do that's the plan based on our conversation, is to, similar to what CSU incentivizes, is to incentivize the electric appliances.
It was just on tonight's news that they're raising the gas and the electric somewhere between 10 and 30%.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that the rebate was only for electric, so I don't even know what kind of permits you need for electric. Gas is a whole nother beans.
Same thing. Yeah. Same
Okay.
set
Yep.
of permits.
And then, so the first thing that Hannah talked about was we had asked about, because again, a few of you weren't there last month. There's a fee at what is it called? Use tax. And we were hoping that could sort of be waived. And we found out, yeah, I guess it can't be waived. So a person has to pay it, but then they would be reimbursed alongside the rebate. Correct? Yes.
So Hannah, would that reimbursement come through that would also be a credit on the water bill for the use tax? Would it be the same mechanism?
Yes, that's correct.
So this means if I replace my water heater in 3 or 4 months and this program is in place, I should double check what the Colorado Springs rebates are, or with Manitou, and find out what kind I might consider getting. And is that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I currently have gas, but if I had to change to electric, I could look at that. So, okay. Just helpful to know.
Yes.
Okay, so another follow-up that I had, and I wanted to just quickly share my screen real quick, is what exactly this would all look like. And we were able to just use our property improvement permit process that would be perfect for tracking this rebate program and making sure that all divisions are notified of who needs a rebate, this, that, and the other. And all we would really need to do is make a small change to the actual form. And so we've worked with finance to make a draft version of what this could look like. So the property improvement permit, pretty much this is all exactly the same except for this top right-hand corner that I've highlighted. And so this would just be a for staff use only section. And so we have added a little checkbox if it's eligible for the energy efficiency rebate program, yes or no. And if it is, the amount that we as staff in the planning department would calculate they're eligible to be reimbursed on their water bill. So we would add that number in. From there, we would share this form with the finance division, who then could take that information and the address and credit the account that's tied to that address. So it would be a pretty seamless addition to an existing process. And I just wanted to share with you what this all could look like.
How simple that is.
Yeah, should be pretty simple. The last takeaway that I have in my notes was coming up with a set of evaluation criteria for this program. And my thought was we would consider this a successful program if we had spent 2/3 of the money before the end of the year, and that it would be successful if we didn't have to expand the notification or change any of the parameters for this program midway through or anything like that. And so I wanted to get your thoughts on whether you would consider this successful if we spent 2/3, purely because we're halfway through the year already. And so I felt like that was pretty attainable, but obviously aiming to spend all 10,000. But I wanted to get your thoughts on that before cementing that.
I think that sounds reasonable. Everything you just said sure, let's aim to spend the whole amount and do what we can. If there's, you talked about kind of reevaluating things a few months in, I love that idea, but that seems like a reasonable threshold and goal to put on it.
Great.
Yeah, I'd
I think-
agree.
I think it's reasonable to considering, we have to also advertise, let people know that this is happening. Yeah, all of that's going to take time.
Yeah. And how does our budget work? Is it an annual or fiscal? I can't remember when we get awarded, how quick we have to use it.
Calendar year.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And as far as what I recalled from the previous meeting, those were the primary takeaways for me to follow up on. I do also have in my notes that we were going to talk about adding additional fixtures or faucets or something like that. And I believe that we were all supportive of doing that, but I wanted to make sure that everybody remembered that as well.
Additional fixtures for, remind us.
Sure. That it was adding really small additions like water sense, kitchen faucets or bathroom faucets or things like that.
Mhm. Yes,
Yes.
yes, I
Okay.
do, yes.
Great.
That's right. And I know one of the follow-ups for me was to help support, kind of develop the eligibility criteria, and I'm still on board to support that, but admittedly haven't made any progress on that since our last meeting.
It's all right. Whatever you need, if you need assistance on, what were we looking at for eligibility? Like, you mean?
Mostly following what I mean. I think we talked about it already and established the
Yeah.
guidelines. It was more just documenting it and ensuring that we have, references to, like, CSU has some lists of eligible products. So, assembling all that information so that we have it in one place so that we can create a 2-page guideline document for applicants so that they know what they need to meet to be eligible for these rebates.
Okay.
And I did, and one thing we talked about last time was we talked about the landscaping incentive,
Mhm.
how that was kind of a bigger thing to develop. And while we wanted to do that, we could stage that and add that at a later date. And I did read, and others probably did too, that the state is looking at developing some guidelines and establishing incentives. And I wasn't sure if it was through probably a state funding mechanism. And so I think that's great for our efforts. If there's, that's on a longer time frame, it would be something that would be available next year. But
Yeah.
following that process and Manitou getting ahead of the curve a little bit, later this year, or even next year, getting a program in place in advance of the state. But maybe kind of trying to follow the guidelines that the state is at least looking towards developing in their program. So I was glad to read that.
Yeah, that's excellent. Excellent. Okay. So, and then we had said, yeah, it would be if someone gets an incentive or rebate, obviously they can't get it from water, through CSU, they bring that, they attach that to their application, right? For us, or that's not required? I'm just trying to remind myself.
Right. What we would end up doing is for a water conservation improvement, they would not be going to Colorado Springs Utilities. It would just go straight to us. But for an energy efficiency improvement or installation, Colorado Springs Utilities does have a program for those. And so we would ask that they apply for both programs to make sure that we weren't taking any, I guess, potential projects from Colorado Springs Utilities in that regard.
Got it. Okay. Barb, or I mean, I guess any of us, would you guys want to see? I know Andy, you can't see anyway, you're on the phone, but what we had, well, like some of the, like the one of the slides that you had last time, Hannah, I don't know if you have available, that just sort of gives the recap.
I
And if
can,
not, we can send it out later, but I just want to make sure everyone understands where we are.
sure. Let me send that out later.
Okay. Sounds good. So questions, thoughts? Like, again, we still have to just do a, and I'm happy to help Aaliyah with like the eligibility piece and just try to pull some things so we're not recreating anything, adding.
Yeah, so what are Hannah, what do you see as the next step?
Sure. If we could get some info pulled together on the eligibility, we are prepared to kick the program off from our side. So if we could get that together, then we could start preparing advertisements and getting the word out there, and potentially be ready for a July 1st kickoff.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
You guys are great.
I know.
That's
You know,
but that would,
it's a very different planning department than we've been dealing with for a long time. And so I
okay.
just
Yes.
really appreciate your motivation and your action. and your
Yeah,
ideas.
yeah. Of course, I'm glad to be of assistance and helping spend that money. I love spending money, so this works out.
Good.
But we can, I'll double check a couple of things on the advertising side, but when we did the research initially, there wasn't any hurdles to getting a July 1st kickoff. But we are pretty much set up and ready to go from the staff side, except for outlining the schedule of different improvements and how much we'd be willing to rebate them in those eligibility criteria. And so if there's a way that staff can help support putting those together, we're happy to do that too.
Okay. Yeah, I can commit to, and I might pull you and Allison for some support, and you know,
Yeah.
Hannah, always for review for sure. I can commit to pull something together, a draft of that by the end of next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm just trying to look here to see.
Oh.
Yeah, they have a lot of, I'm just on CSU's kind of web that, yeah, I don't think we have to recreate a lot. We just have to sort of pull in
Yeah.
similar language. So good. Okay. So yeah, happy to help with that, Aaliyah.
Great.
Just let me know what you need. I got a little time. Don't tell anyone that though. No.
Well, I won't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
what I recall is that the information that was sent out last month was pretty much ready to go, except for a couple of additions. And so I'd be happy to send that out again as part of a reminder email with that PowerPoint as well, so that everybody had recent access to it.
Sure.
Perfect. That would be great. Good. All right. So I guess that's, we don't need to do anything, right? I don't need to vote on anything. We just move forward.
What I think would be helpful for just the record is if we could do a quick vote to give staff permission to move forward when the eligibility criteria are set up.
Right.
I motion to approve staff to move forward with this program once they have some of the last information from us on the eligibility criteria with everything that they've presented to us so far.
Barb's raised her hand for a second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
I
Aye. All right, it's all approved. Excellent. Thanks,
Great.
Hannah and the staff team for that. I appreciate everything. I agree with Aaliyah. I'm like, what? We're ready to go.
We're ready.
We gotta get we're like in slow-mo. So yeah, we'll have to get back into moving forward motion. So yay, thank you.
Maybe you can convince Corinne to come back.
Maybe.
Kind of nice that
Yeah.
you don't go through
Luck.
council to get anything, that we could do it without city council.
Yeah, it's true. So, all right. So I guess just moving along here. City Council, Nancy, do you have any updates?
Probably the biggest thing we've worked on was we had a budget retreat on Sunday, and we had about $5 million in reserve for a lot of reasons. So we decided to keep about 3 million of that in reserve because we don't know what's going to happen with the marijuana vote in Colorado Springs. So, but that left us 2.5 million. So we allocated that to capital improvement projects. And if you're interested, I can tell you what those are.
Sure.
Like to know.
Yeah, it was about 395,000 to city equipment needs, and that included a bucket, truck thingy. There's just a whole bunch of vehicles primarily that were needed. $300,000 to City Hall and the police department. If you've ever been in the police department, it's just in really bad, inappropriate shape for a police department. So that'll be good. 150K to the pool and fitness center. A lot of that will go to ADA compliance. Library 500,000 to the library. And I think the decision was also to get a loan, a $1.2 million loan to support the library construction. Hiawatha Gardens got 250,000. EMS transport got 650,000. I think I may have mentioned last month that the city's looking to pull in, rather than contracting out for AMR, ambulance services, we'll pull it in ourselves. So that will get us a lot of the equipment we need for that. And then next year they'll get the personnel ready to go for that as well. So that's huge, huge, huge change. And then 151,000 for other critical ADA issues within the city. So those were the big ticket items that we allocated funding for that will be appropriated at the budget amendment time in next month, probably. So any questions for me?
So are they gonna use that, the police department, are they using that to remodel that office space? Because it's tiny.
Yeah, I know. I can't tell you exactly, Regina, what they'll be using it for, but it's basically it's for capital improvements, and they're doing a lot of things at City Hall right now, rearranging, putting up walls, taking down walls, just making general improvements. If you go into the police department, they've put in a new floor, they've painted, they've done some things to make it a little bit more professional looking. But yeah, the City Hall, this is really a Band-Aid for City Hall as well as for the pool. It's both Band-Aids in that regard. But it's the most Band-Aids they've got in a long, long time. So it's the biggest huge bandages for them that they haven't had. So.
Yeah.
Good, thank you. Do you know any updates on Cheyenne Village or La Fawn? Has anything come through?
Cheyenne Village, that they didn't get their they wanted to rezone it out of the historic, part of it out of the historic district. That was turned down. So I don't know if you've been over there, but they put a fence all the way around it. And there's been, on rare occasion, you see some construction looking guys in there. They got hit pretty hard during the windstorm a couple weeks ago. So there's a lot of even after all the work they did on the trees there's still some additional branches and so on down. So I don't know. I just know that as of now, it looks like they were going to continue with the renovation of that project. The LaFun is, there was a, the URA is meeting this Friday because that's in the URA. And as of the last URA meeting a month ago, there was a development offer on the table. So they were doing due diligence that has to be finished by July. So we'll know more if that deal goes through or not.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Nancy, I have a habitability comment. I don't know who decided to do the chipper coming curbside, but I think in terms of, our residents, it's great. I ran into a woman last week one day who thought the city was coming before the city decided they were going to come. And she was really quite distressed, a little bit of an older woman. She didn't know how to get her branches to the chipper day. And I mean, to tell you the truth, it was a little whiny. She said, I'm 68 years old and I have a husband who's ill. And I said, well, I'm 68 years old and I paid somebody, but at any rate, but it is really it's a very nice program and so helpful.
And I will pass that comment along. It was very controversial. It's a lot of work. All the neighborhoods won't be covered until August. You may or may not know that Crystal Hills was not finished today.
I could tell.
On the chipper day that they did have, that they ended up canceling the next one. They were absolutely overwhelmed with response, so much so that they had to require ID that you lived in Manitou. And then one of the chippers broke. We had two chipper things. One of them is broken now. So it was a huge undertaking and will continue to be, but I know that comment will be much appreciated. So thank you.
Well, I liked the chipper day too. I mean, I loaded the back of my Forester up. It was just, I had a lot of damage and I'm actually paying quite a lot of money to have professional tree trimmers in and more mitigation down the back. But it was just very helpful. And I know from that one woman that I'm sure it made a big difference for her.
Thanks.
How are they doing the chipper day? Are they setting appointments for people or they just come along?
No, there's, if you go to the Manitou Springs website, Andy, you can find it, but it's in Crystal. It was supposed to have been all done in Crystal Hills today. And there's dates every month or a couple times a month for different neighborhoods in the city. And you have to pile your brush and tree limbs in a certain way. And there's directions out there on the city's webpage on how to do it. And then they'll just come around with a chipper and pick them up off the side of the road or off the sidewalk, where you're not supposed to put it in the road, but off your property, off of private property, as long as it's neatly piled in accordance with their directions.
Because I know City of Colorado Springs, you can call and make an appointment.
Good. Good. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate all that. Hannah, did you have anything else to share with us?
Yeah, I just have a super quick update. I wanted to formally introduce our new senior planner, Chelsea Stromberg, to the Housing Advisory Board. This is her first week, so she's just getting familiar with everything Manitou Springs. But she joins us with experience from City of Pueblo, City of Colorado Springs, City of Woodland Park, as well as a lot of experience working with grants and grant management, including working with DOLA for a few years. So she'll be a great asset to not only our department, but to the city as a whole. And we're really excited to have her join us.
Yay. Well, welcome. I saw your name. Were you, Chelsea, were you the one that came out when I was at the door?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Kelsey.
Oh, that was.
Oh, Kelsey.
Oh, I
No.
thought I saw you too. Sorry.
Oh, that was Kelsey. Okay. That was I'm like, I can't remember it since I can't see your faces. So.
Well, and I think we'll both answer to both names now, so it should be pretty easy. But thank you
Yes,
for the warm
okay.
welcome. I really appreciate it. I look forward to working with all of you.
And the
Yay,
planning
so
is now whole, which is just, and almost brand new except for Dylan. So very, very exciting and bodes very well for our future as a city.
Yes. Yeah,
And
we're excited
Dylan-
to be fully staffed.
yes.
And Dylan's
So
a new
Han-
daddy.
Yeah, Dylan had hit a baby, so he is a new dad too.
That's nice. Oh, and so it will be Chelsea will be our liaison, or
So we haven't fully worked all that out
Okay.
just yet. So for the time being, I'll still be the liaison for the board, but I wanted to make sure she was introduced so that you knew who she was, and you'll see her name pop up here and there for sure.
okay, good. Looking forward to meeting. Hopefully, we'll see if next month we can meet in person, and we want to do our goodbye to Regina. So. Not, we don't want to do the goodbye, but we don't want you to leave us. But if you're going to, we want to celebrate and acknowledge all the time that you had with us. So
We don't have to party. Who knows?
Just to say hello.
Any excuse for a party, Regina. You're
Yeah.
a good.
Yep, that's right. Okay, just moving along. Andy, you mentioned you had something you wanted to share. Did anyone else? No.
I got an email from the housingcolorado.org about some events that are coming up. And it's a local division of housing, DORA, and the Colorado Housing Finance Authority, CHFA. And they're going to do 6 statewide outreach forums. The first one's June 27th at Frisco, and I did that 2 years ago. And it was attended probably by about 70 people. It was really good. And there's one Wednesday, July 19th in Denver. They don't have the announcement where it's at. Western Slope one is Tuesday, July 19th. And then July 26th, Northern Colorado and Greeley. And there's 2 more. One August 2nd in Southwest Colorado, location to be announced. And then there's August 9th, Southern Colorado and Colorado Springs. But the state's come out with a lot of funding for attainable housing. And we should have people up there to be looking at this. So we don't have any land to build on, but maybe we could do some conversion of some things or whatever. But I'm going to be going up there, so if anybody wants to join me, let me know. It's on a Monday, so we'll be going up there Sunday night. And it's free, and lunch is provided.
Sounds awesome.
I sent Allison the memo that I had, or the email.
And Allison, in the past, we have some budget for education and training, and so we have been able to reimburse people's travels when they're attending events that are relevant for our work. And so I think you've done that before, Andy, but I don't see why, if you're willing to attend, that we wouldn't reimburse you for expenses.
Sure, I didn't turn it in last time, but I did do it.
Okay,
I'm
we have line item for that, so we can, if the event's free, right? But maybe we can compensate for some mileage or.
And there'd be a motel probably too also.
Okay, all right, we can look into that. I can't remember that line item on that, but we can look.
If anybody else wants to go, I think I'd like to have more people go than just me.
If I could go, but I work on Mondays.
So I'll share that, I
real
guess.
nice with Excuse me?
I'll just share that with Hannah and she can send it out with follow-up materials, and I guess just let us know and I'll look at that budget amount that we have. I think it's was it like 1,000 or I'll have to look again. I don't have my folder with me.
Yeah, how it was broken down. I don't
Yeah.
know off the top of my
And
head.
Andy,
Okay.
could you send out the information? Because I can't spend the night, but I'd be interested in the one in Colorado Springs.
Okay. I'll forward the email.
Thanks for sharing. Appreciate it. All right. Did any other board members have any reports? Anything to update? No. All right. Well, thank you all again. And Aaliyah and I will work on that eligibility document so that we can get this rolling and then get the information out there. So appreciate everyone's time and work on this. This is awesome.
Great. Thanks
Okay.
again, everyone.
Yeah, stay well, everyone. Regina and Hannah, everyone start feeling better.
Guys feel better.
Safe travels, Aaliyah. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Nancy.